Yeah, no, that's what it is now. Yep.
Also, I need to. Right.
Closest to 10.
Let me.
So, was that a sigh of relief in the back?
1 second.
Where'd
There we
everybody
go.
go?
Okay.
Why is my Fuji tech not showing everybody?
Oh, no.
What the fuck?
That's okay. We're there this time.
13, but as far from the middle as you can get.
Huh?
Wait, what are we aiming for?
Not the middle. Well, Vince, do you want to do a recap or not?
Looks like I
I'm
want
not
to.
there yet.
Damn.
Wait, I haven't rolled yet. I haven't rolled yet.
10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
I mean, technically, 11 is the average is.
Technically, 11's the middle.
I think 10.5.
Yeah, so if they roll a 10, then Marak and Elaine and fucking Shul have to roll off to see who gets.
Or
Because
wait,
they're technically right between.
Clearly, hear me out. They alternate
Hmm.
words
Oh,
on the
I
recap.
like it. I like it. Unfortunately, they didn't roll a 10, although they tried their best.
I did.
No. Okay, Marak. Regale us of the glorious events of last week's session.
Last session, we picked up what's left of Zephyr, cleansed him of his ills, went and said hi to the porridge dad, and been like, hey, here's your weird cursed daughter. She stabbed someone. We went back to the Cobalt Soul. The Cobalt Soul were like, damn, that's wild. You good? And that we were like, we don't know. And that was about all I remember.
I'm gonna leave and come back.
All right.
Aha! Fix.
Yeah, I was gonna
That
say we should
fix
all
it.
leave while she's gone.
Oh,
Don't, oh, no, don't do that.
She comes in and she realized she just had a mental break and we'd never existed.
Why
She
are all the
blinks.
Fuji tech's not here?
She blinks and she's like sitting in her like room on like the like wooden floor. Like, what's happening?
That's cracks hell of a drug.
Oh, Lordy, Lord. On that note, yeah, no, I think you got the major events. There was a scuffle. You got some information from a very furry orc man. You returned a seemingly humanoid shaped Zephyr to the Cobalt Soul. And were left off as Baba and Nova were arriving back at the Cobalt Soul, and Marak and Shul were still with Zephyr in the lower rooms, as he's still in a fit of a state of unconsciousness, kind of fading in and out on a table. So I'll leave it to you. I'd say that Nova and Baba, as you enter the Cobalt Soul, you will cross paths with the High Curator as well as the familiar face of Question. And as they're seemingly on a bit of um, a task, as they're heading in one direction with a bit of ease, you see Question sort of catches your attention. Just, there, down below, second floor, first room on the right. You might want to check on them.
Wait, we're down
Before
below on the second floor. What floor do we enter this place on?
second floor down.
Oh Jesus! Okay, the back basement or down basements and stuff.
You would sort of recognize that as being the floor where you were attempting to keep Zephyr previously, but didn't work so well.
Yeah, wonder why.
Yeah. But with that, you see Question sort of had paused to let you know where they were, and then sort of immediately scurries off to catch up with the High Curator, and you'll see them kind of going to the far side of the library, and approaching at this point, you've been in the library enough to know that there is a sort of restricted staircase that goes to um, higher areas in the library that have a bit more sensitive information. And you see both of them kind of heading in that direction with some amount of haste. Mm,
Always kind of
um,
rub his chin. Make
but
nothing of
with
it.
that, um, you all will eventually reconvene. You have Zephyr, who is still unconscious, but is you can see he's breathing, and you kind of note that as he is breathing a bit um like raggedly at points. Every once in a while you'll see a bead of sweat appear on his brow before wicking off. Looking closely, you can see his eyes sort of flickering back and forth under his lid. Um, he's definitely not sleeping soundly, as it were. Mm.
Like,
So, what would you all like to do? It is also like 3 a.m. at this point. Mhm.
I reckon we could all probably do a Zephyr and sleep after a fight.
Mhm.
I don't know
Mhm,
about y'all,
mhm.
but turtles ain't meant to run as much as they did today.
All
Yeah, let's
right.
get some sleep.
So you going for a long rest. Are you going to your rooms, or you're essentially in like uh, a testing chamber, if you will? So are you crashing here with Zephyr, or are you going off to your respective sleeping areas?
Does the door to his chamber open inwards or outwards?
It opens. In order to wait, I have to think about door physics. Um, the inside presses against the if something were to push from the inside, it would be pushing against solid wall. So it opens inwards. Um, and uh it can be locked from both sides, respectively. Um,
Right. If y'all
mhm.
want to go to your rooms, I can prop myself up against the door. May hopefully do a better job
Why
than.
can't we all just take a nap in here together?
Well, I reckon if he goes blender mode, then we're all dead.
But wouldn't it be better if we were all together?
I reckon it's possible.
Well, I'll stay. I'll sleep in here. I don't mind.
Okay. Anybody gotta be heading off, or should I take my position against the doll? No. All right.
I think everyone's pretty.
Yeah, we're all in this together. And I started like moving in the corner as I unpack my backpack and like get my like bedroll and stuff out.
Your Baba as he's like kind of like wedging himself like partially like one side kind of up against the side of a door and other side on the ground. So he's like sleeping at like a 20-degree angle. He continues his song, but he's like humming. Let's get down to business. Clearly not understanding the song.
All right, so you all will eventually sort of lay down and find some amount of comfort in here, although there are no sleeping amenities. Some of you have various things that you have propped up, bags that you have propped yourself against, or I'm sure Shul has pulled something from their wondrous bag in order to accommodate some. But eventually, you will all come to some amount of rest for this evening, putting the end to probably one of the longest and most taxing days many of you have encountered in quite some time, especially after coming into the somewhat luxuries of the City of Splendor here. Um, with that, um, are you all attempting to rest, or are some of you trading watches, or are you taking watches, or are you all just resting?
Should probably
Um,
take a watch. Bobby can take first watch.
yeah,
Um,
we should probably, stand over him with a giant silver mace like we did last time and make sure that, you know.
Down the point. Baba will take the watch mace first.
So Baba's on first watch. You need 3 watches total, so,
You can go second.
1 for okay.
I'd like to tinker with calcifer and kind of reshape Clay Baby a little bit. Maybe his cheek got a little lopsided. And fix that up.
Understandable. So Baba on first watch, Shul on second watch, and then Marak or Nova, who's on third watch.
I'm good with anything.
Mhm.
Okay. So
They play
we
patty cake in
will,
the corner when it's their turn.
we'll say, Marak then? Is that good with everyone?
Yeah.
For third watch? Okay. Um, so, um, Baba,
Yeah.
your first watch, nothing seems to particularly go awry. Is there anything you would like to do, or just keeping an eye out for any mischief and then waking up the next watch? Mm,
Let's say probably the latter of those options is keep an eye out for some shenanigans, and then
all right.
when the next person takes over, he'll hand them the mace.
Understandable. Yeah. After about 2 hours, Baba, uh, there is a mixture of uh, snoring and restlessness from some of the group. Zephyr's seeming issues do not seem to um, slow in any way. He's kind of maintaining this continuous. There's like ebbs and flows, but on average, he seems to be struggling to sleep, much like a child with a high fever, just kind of burning up in the night.
Every time he kind of makes like a bigger movement, like Baba will kind of like raise the mace, and then just like slowly lower again, like all right, next time.
Yes, very much so. But all in all, relatively uneventful. Shul, with your second watch. Um, is there anything specific you would like to do during this 2-hour time period, or are you just keeping an eye out for anything out of the ordinary?
Just checking on Zephyr. I'll like tinker with calcifer, like, probably like maybe some of his teeth got a little bent with all the biting he's done, so I want to clean them up and weld them back to good shapes, and Clay Baby's all good. Fix his wings up a little bit.
Righty. Um, there is nearly no event. About halfway through your watch period, though, you'll notice this sort of strangeness, and the room is at this point dimly lit by a magical light source that is ever burning, ever present. Um, However, at about an hour into your watch, the light source, the light in the room kind of flickers and darkens, and after a moment returns back to the same brightness as before. Mm.
Oh, so like the lights flicker for a sec?
Yeah, like it dims
Yeah.
significantly,
Can I
will fade
see if
back
that
in.
was just like, because like that happens to my eyeball sometimes. So could I like see if like that was a me thing because I'm kind of tired, or if that's a not a me thing?
Hmm. Um, yes, self awareness is a insight roll. So go ahead and I'm like, let's internally, is this me or is this the world? Go ahead and roll insight on yourself to try and figure out if you're just that tired.
I rolled a
Um
10. I got it.
yeah. Second roll made it. Um uh you can't be entirely certain. Looking around, it doesn't appear that like anything else is off from what you can tell. Is there anything else like sort of being unsure that it was if it was you or not? Is there anything else that you would like to do?
I'd get up and go look at Zephyr. Like, is he doing like did that make him like worse or like is his nightmares looking worse or does he seem okay?
He actually seems a little bit more restful now. He's not twitching
Gosh,
around as much.
maybe it wasn't a thing
His
entering, maybe it was a thing leaving.
he's not twitching around as much. You can see his eyes have come to some amount of rest behind his lids.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll just go back to what I was doing then, just kind of hanging out. But I'll mark it. I might write it down. I write it down in my book.
Understandable. Um, Nova, uh, is there anything that you're doing during this evening's rest? You're just trying to make it through the night.
Uh, I guess trying to sleep.
Okay. Um, Now you are, if I remember correctly, you do have the same. I believe Drow have the same sleeping situation as normal elves, if I remember correctly.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, right, okay. Um, so, and with that, um, God, there's so many. I pulled up like the species traits thing for Drow. There's so many things. Um, okay, so with that, um, you kind of have that sort of borderline meditation, almost like a practiced sense of reflectiveness that you go into in order to rest. Um, and uh, Often during these times of rest, Nova, do you think that you dream? Do you see things, or is it mostly just a state of nothingness?
Uh, I think uh, I would dream, but, like, not too often, just, like, once in a while.
Drow,
Understandable.
right?
Yes.
Do they sleep?
Uh, Not exactly. They have that sort of like
Meditation.
meditative rest. Yeah, the semi-consciousness. Mechanically, they are unconscious, but they don't have to rest nearly as much. And if they want to quote dream, they can, but it's more of mental exercise than actual uh unconscious lucidity that most people experience. Um, but with that, um so sometimes it wouldn't be uncommon for you to see things, especially if it's something that you're struggling with in your waking life, Nova, for it to come back and for you to think through it in your state of rest. Um, and for most of this night, it is not much different. You will get little pieces of the day that play back over you, questions that remain unsolved that sort of wander through your semi-conscious mind, um, and you start eventually seeing these pictures from your past reappearing and kind of flashing by you one after another. Um, Little bits of your childhood, some that you haven't thought of or could not remember if you tried, that within the last day or so have sort of swarmed back over you, sort of awakened again by that voice you heard in the forest, calling out to you, almost teasing you. These kind of images of shadow and darkness that have haunted you coming back. but you are able to keep them at bay. You process them and move on to the next thing. It's just another day. You're used to this. But then at a certain point, it begins to overwhelm you. This coldness which you have grown accustomed to, that you have almost come to ignore as just the state of being, almost overwhelms you, and you begin to feel frigid. Um, in this sense of trance, you almost stir awake, but can't quite. You're stuck in this semi-consciousness, and you feel your body beginning to ice over. Then you hear a voice peer into your mind. Not the voice that you were imagining moments ago, not the voice that has haunted you for most of your life, but nonetheless one that you have heard at least once, if not a few times in the last 24 hours. A prying voice. Now, you all rest so vulnerably. This is quite unfortunate. There's plans for you yet, Dark One.
You
Rest well. We're not done with you.
like
Sorry, I just imagine like that voice is actually like a little tiny gross worm and it like talks to Nova and Nova's like, ew, and just like squishes it. It's like gross.
yucky.
You, as this sense of cold fades from you, Nova, uh, you kind of stir for a moment, leaving your state of trance. Look around the room. You see Shul in front of you, seemingly inspecting Zephyr. Everything else seems normal.
Cool.
Do you return to your state of rest?
Nope. I'm good.
All right. So you stay up for the rest of the the rest of the evening then?
Yep, I'm just chilling.
Okay. Um so you towards the end of your trance you are sort of struck by that and find yourself unable to finish your rest. Um you kind of keep playing back these images through your mind. That voice does not return, but its lingering effect slowly will fade from you. That icy coldness will pass, and you'll go back to a more normal state. Eventually, um, Marak, you will be awoken by Shul um, for the last watch here.
Oh
Is there anything you
boy.
would like to do during this time, Marak?
Um, I'd like to. I don't think there's anything really. I'd probably just keep a very close eye on Zephyr. just like,
Yeah, that's fair.
just
You'll
watching over him,
notice
like,
that.
give me a reason.
Mhm,
Like,
fair enough.
Bruh.
Um, you will notice at, uh, kind of just after getting up and getting your surroundings, and as Shul lays down to finish their rest, you will notice that Nova is not quite resting, um, and Zephyr appears to be more restful than when you initially went to sleep. There was nothing else you would like to do. Eventually, your watch will come to an end, and everyone will slowly start waking. Um, with that, all of you except Nova can mark off a long rest. Nova, you can take a short rest if you would like and roll hit dice. However, you were not able to finish your long rest.
Mhm.
Damn.
I don't know how to do hit dice.
If you press the short rest button,
Yes.
you can a little pop-up will appear on the side, and you can check off the amount of hit dice you would like to roll. You have a total of 8. You can roll as many as you would like. You can do them one at a time, or you can do them in batches. But you can check off how many you would like to roll, and then you can press the little like forward, however many d6 button that appears, and it should roll it automatically. And then you
Oh.
press take short rest as soon as you're done healing.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
How jacked up is Nova still looking?
I'm good, I think.
Because as always, Baba will cast Good Berry before going to bed. Gotta have his good goods in his pocket.
I think I'll
Um,
be fine.
yeah, they look. Uh, let me see. I think they don't look particularly worse off than normal. To you, Baba. Everyone appears to be maybe not as well rested as on the best days, but no one looks extremely worse for wear. Um, Nova seems maybe a little more spacey than normal, but Mhm.
Baba will distribute the berries as normal, and Nova will get an extra 2 just in case.
Yippee.
Fair enough. With that, you wake up. It is, let's see, it's the late morning, and you uh, appear to be appears that nothing went wrong over the night, at least for most of you. Zephyr is still resting, it would seem, but a little more peacefully. Um, you will eventually come across a small note that had been slipped under the door at some point in the night. Mm.
Oh boy.
I'll go get it and
Like to
see
pick it up.
what it's about.
Um, you go and pick up the note, and it is appears to just be a memo written by question. Um, we have some research that we were able to conclude. Will be in the High Curator's office whenever you all are ready.
I got some errands to run in town. If anybody wants to come along, but I guess some of y'all want to go further your education, so to speak.
Yeah, I can go talk to the High Curator.
Alrighty. So it sounds like Baba's going out to run some errands. Shul, you're going to follow up on this memo.
Mhm.
Nova and Marak, what are you doing for this time?
Like, follow Baba.
I will probably follow the other person then, so that we're nicely split.
2
And
forest.
are you leave? And
Oh
are you
no!
leaving the Zephyr?
Ooh.
Can I like put him in like a backpack and then carry him on my back?
Um,
Or just lock him in a room.
Because that worked so well last time.
Look, this time question isn't the one that's watching this thing, so be better this time.
I'm gonna put him on like his bed sheet and like wrap it around him and then tie the top and then like put like
I'll hold
It's
him
like-
like a
so you're gonna
baby, like the baby
yeah,
sling.
you're gonna swaddle him.
Papoose.
Yeah, that was gonna be where I was going to. I was like, yeah, you'd probably like swaddle him up,
yeah,
and wear him like a backpack if you wanted.
yeah. I'm
Um,
gonna carry him.
all
I've got a
right.
very high
Um,
carry weight, so I'm doing okay.
Yeah, yeah, you can do it. He's not that hefty of an individual. But yeah, no, you're free to hoist him up like that. He stirs a little bit in his sleep, but he's out. Um,
Yeah, I'm just gonna be walking around this place with Shul with a nuke on my back. With a rabid animal that could wake up at any moment.
Hell yeah, dude.
all righty then.
I'm gonna get some fun
Uh,
looks.
yep,
All the rage
most
of the
likely.
kids these days, the rabbit animal backpacks. Put some patches
Terrible.
and stickers on it.
Oh, all righty. So you all will head off in your various respective directions. Baba and Nova, where are you two going?
Well, first up of the day, well, for Baba, needs to be the pottery salesman.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh my god, Bob's gonna go buy some pot.
You already did. Prepaid.
Yippee!
Want to
Prepaid.
get high?
Yeah. The pots that you purchased yesterday, 6 months ago.
Well, he did say it'd be
Um,
ready the next day, so.
yeah, no, he did. So, yeah, you go pick up your goods. Um, not an issue. Is there, anything else you'd like to do out, or are you just picking up your order?
Nothing but, Nova, you got anything in town you need to get done?
No, I don't think so.
I'm gonna
Alright,
be
well.
honest, I thought Baba just said, "Hey Baba, you got anything you need to get done?"
That's for later in the campaign when Baba loses his mind.
Yay!
Yippee!
For now, he still holds on to a shred of sanity.
Yeah, here and there. Well, I reckon we should go check on, I guess, Curse Girl, Porridge Girl, Little Porridge, Porridge
Yeah.
Dad. See how things are going there. Maybe they need another hand.
Yeah.
And then some nice hot meat swords on the way back.
Sure.
All right. So picking up the pottery, checking in. Are you going to the girl's home or to the temple?
Temple,
Mhm.
I reckon that's where Papa
Okay.
P and Little P will be.
Okay. Um,
Or Papa P
and
and
then
PG.
okay. And then and then meat swords on the way back. Um, uh, you
One for everyone,
uh
including Question and the head curator as well.
Oh boy.
Uh, fair enough. Okay. Just so that you're aware as far as time usage, you are going to the market, which is halfway across the city, walking back to the same district past the Cobalt Soul to check on the girl, and then walking back to the market on the other side of the city
Yeah,
in
because
that
you can't
order.
really, you can't
Um,
really do. I mean, I guess we can do the temple and then the market and meat swords at the same time. But you don't really want to buy meat swords, then go to the temple, then come back because you're not gonna be warming
that
anywhere.
that is valid. That is valid. You could go to the temple first, as it
I guess
is
we'll do the temple
down the
first.
road. Okay. Um, yeah, no, easy enough then. We will start with that. So you make your way back to the Temple of the Dusk Maven, of which you left not too long ago, or at least left the general vicinity of. Um, Upon returning, you'll see that there are some repairs being done to a couple of buildings that may or may not have had a reptile incident the night before. You see that there are a number of priests of the Dusk Maven that are uh, seemingly making repairs to grave sites. And cleaning up some of the wreckage from the previous scuffle. Um, just a few of them, maybe about three that you'll kind of come across as you approach the temple. They don't stop you or question your approach. As you go to enter the temple, find the doors almost open for you, and in a similar fashion as before, will slowly close behind you. Um, do you sort of are you going to kind of head further into the temple, or do you kind of know the direction in which you were led a few times, or are you going to wait in the lobby?
Yeah, Baba kind of feels at home here now, so he'll just make go in the direction he was before.
um, as you sort of begin heading a little bit further into the temple towards the region where you originally carried the girl off to, you'll see a somewhat familiar visage of the woman who first greeted you in the temple here. Um, uh, Baba, as it were, and new friend, what can we do for you?
This is my well, we just dropped by to see how Papa P and PG is doing. Also, Nova, while we're here, you want to get your curse removed?
Is that how that works?
I think this is kind of one-stop curse removal shop. They seem to be pretty good at it.
We could give it a try.
Well, talking about the first matter first then. If you would like to check on the father, he is awaiting, but unfortunately, you cannot interrupt the girl that you left with us at this moment, as the ritual is underway and is best not disturbed.
You all need a hand of that. I got a little bit of practice in last night.
If we have complications, we will be sure to let you know. At this time, I believe that our priests are handling it, and if the Dusk Maven wishes it, then it shall be. But
And then Baba will kind of
you
take out a
will
piece of
be
parchment and scribble like 9 numbers on like here's my number if you need me.
you sort as you sort of hold it out, they um curiously pull hand from robe and take um it's just like an assortment of numbers.
Yes, actually grid
Um,
coordinates, but just looks like a telephone number.
oh, oh, okay. Um, how, yes, we will be in touch as soon as there's any news. They sort of just tuck it back into their sleeves. Um, um, as per your second child, there is some curse upon you that you are struggling with as they turn towards you, Nova.
I have no clue.
Oh yeah, no, she definitely cursed.
Well, let's see what the dusk might bring then. I'll
Nova
have
kind of nudges
both of
Nova.
you
Tell him
follow
about the
me.
time that you died.
Okay.
They were turning away to lead you down the halls, but they sort of pause halfway through their turn. Was that a rare occurrence or reoccurring?
I think I only died once. Like, completely died once.
Interesting. And you returned?
Yep.
Uh, they um sort of return to center, turning back towards you. Child, would you mind if I got a closer look at you?
Go
Yes.
ahead.
They uh will sort of approach you. They were maybe 10 feet away. And they slowly approach. They come up to you, and they hold out two relatively pale hands, and place one on your third eye, on your forehead, in the center. And we'll be gentle. We just need a look. they say, and the robes they're wearing are gilded with sort of symbols of feathers and um, other kind of like wing-like motifs in the threading. They're black robes with this gold threading and embroidery along it. And you see as they focus in on you for a moment, there is a shift in them, almost like the feathers rustling, and the sheen of gold kind of travels up them through their arms. Um, and after a moment or so, they will just step back, look at you. You see their head sort of tilt slightly. Their face is mostly obscured by a mask, but um, you can kind of tell that they have a bit of a quizzical tilt to their head. Um, I think that the Dusk Maven might need some time with you, child.
Is that
Follow me.
me? Okay.
Kind of just like mouse.
Um,
Sorry.
Uh,
um, uh, And as they take a few steps away and, their head will tilt back over their shoulder slightly. Good Baba, the father is in the hall, 3rd door on the left. You've been to that chamber before.
Well,
Mm,
I'll come get you later, Nova. You want to meet Sword?
no, thanks. I'm good.
All right. How about you? You want to meet Sword? He kind of looks at the priestess.
they're already walking away.
Oh,
Thank you, but no. Mm,
all right.
um, Nova, they will, begin leading you down the hall, um and there is a fork in the path. This is the second one you've noticed. The first was at the entrance to the temple. There was a large sort of sculptural relief in the wall depicting an entity in of feathers and a golden gilded mask known as the Dusk Maven, which you have gathered. But that first fork um, split off and you took the left path. And then since then, you've kind of been going along this angle deep underground. The lighting in here is dim. The walls are black, almost appear to be obsidian, but at points there are veins of gold streaking through them. And eventually, you will take another right hand turn and begin following this priest up a set of stairs. Um, the stairs are a long walk. Um, they you can see at the top that there is a large wooden door standing out, as wood like this is not as common. It appears to be a heavy, almost oaken door, uncommon in areas such as Marquette here. And upon it, a large rust-colored iron knocker. As you're ascending the stairs slowly, the priest will um, uh, sort of begin asking you a few questions. Um, Now, child, have you ever had an encounter like that before where you felt your soul waning towards one side but returned to your body? Is that the only time?
Uh, would I have DM or would that
To
be
your
the only time?
knowledge, that's the only time. And they're
Okay.
essentially asking you if you've had many times where you have nearly died.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
or essentially died. Uh, Kind of similar question they asked before, but now just reaffirming. Um,
Uh, yeah,
so
then just the once.
hmm, it's quite interesting. Do you know the teachings of our Dusk Maven?
No.
That is all right. They welcome all into their arms, for it is their duty. But you will, in order to learn more from the Dusk Maven, you must undergo a trial.
Oh.
It is up to you whether you have the courage to succeed on this trial. Not all do, but if you are able to commune, then perhaps they will have some answers for you.
Cool.
And if not, well, I believe that you have what it takes.
Okay.
You seem, from what little I can sense, to tread the line between what is living and what is not. But you are not quite undead. There's an important distinction there. Maybe we'll be able to pull you back into the light, but that is for her to determine. At this point, you have reached the door. She reaches an arm out, and this truly massive iron rusted ring, uh, like appearing in the shape of a door knocker, but frankly, almost too large for any one person to lift. Um, they reach their hand out to it, and without touching it, the door splits and slowly begins to open. The chamber ahead of you has a almost it is a large sort of figure like a bird, a sculpture that is um, looming out facing the door as he enter. The chamber's maybe 40 feet deep, but the statue is arching forward over almost half of it. um, Wings somewhere between uh, fully outstretched, almost like it is beginning to encircle around a portion of the room. Um, but instead of the face of this large dark winged beast, you see a golden mask, not too dissimilar from the one you saw in the entrance, and a alternate version that you see this priest wearing. From the foot of this creature, you see stretching forward, filling about half of the room, which otherwise is just almost entirely black, of obsidian walls with continuations of these gold veins. The only thing that breaks that is the pool in front of you. As you step into the room, the priest steps behind you, the door closes, and you are alone. There's this large sculpture, otherwise dark room lit in places by candles, scoured, like sort of scattered around this pool of dark, inky liquid.
Cool.
You hear a voice, muffled through the door. This is your trial, child. You are left alone in this room. There is a set of stairs that are on your side of this pool, slowly leading down into the inky liquid.
Am I supposed to go in it?
Is the Beach Boys playing? But
You'll
like
have
a like
fun,
a
fun,
choir
fun
version.
till her daddy took the T-bird away.
Exactly. But like
Can
in
I
Latin
look
and
into it?
You approach and look in. It is slightly translucent. The crimson sheen becomes more apparent as the light from the candles flickers.
Can I touch it?
Yeah, you reach down and touch it. It appears to be a pool of blood.
Oh!
It feels warm to the touch.
Ew.
Feels kind of strange because your skin is not normally quite warm. But it's pleasant feeling. Tis not
I
I mean,
like that
it's
you
a
say it's
pool of
pleasant
blood, but
feeling, even though Nova went.
yeah. It while disgusting, it kind of gives you the sense of calm when you touch it. It takes you a moment to kind of process. Seems unsettling, but there's something about it that, as you kind of sit in this quiet room, um, this masked figure almost reaching its uh, wings around you at this point as you sort of kind of crouched over the precipice of this pool.
Ew.
This is why I don't go to church.
Man, communion's getting real weird. Very literal with his whole blood thing.
Which part is supposed to be Jesus again?
I think both did.
Oh boy. Uh, what do I do?
You sit on this set of steps. There is silence in this room. It almost beckons for you.
Okay.
Do you
Time for Nova to take a
walk
blood
down the
bath.
steps?
Yeah, sure. Bloodbath time.
Mhm. So you
Did this ever
slowly
hear that?
walk down the
Oh.
steps. As you take 3, 4, 5, you're now waist deep, and the steps continue down. 6, 7, you're up to your neck, and then you go to take one more step, and you feel that sense of falling as there is no next step, and you sort of with a bit of a panic sink into the blood.
Oh god.
Mm. Do you fight it?
Am I drowning?
Not yet, but you do
Oh,
feel yourself slowly sinking deeper and deeper.
that's fine. I'll try to hold my breath.
Attempt to hold your breath and that
Help!
sinking
I am
feeling.
under the water.
Please help me. Bloop, 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 bloop.
Um, that sinking feeling almost feels worse. You feel like you are sinking deeper and deeper into this pool from what seemed like not but mm, a small, maybe 20 by 20-foot circle seems to go quite deep. Um, and you feel this darkness enclosing around you. The water, or liquid, I should say, is warm and it's slowly beginning to overtake that sort of cold temperature that you normally exist at. Um, you, is there anything you are doing as you feel yourself slowly sinking in here, trying to hold your breath?
Um, can I try to open my eyes under this blood water?
Okay.
Like how you try to
You,
open your eyes under water
yeah,
in a pool.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Um, you
Can I
open your
see
eyes. It
anything?
does not sting, but is it is dark.
Ah!
It is It is a level of darkness which you have never experienced before. Um, it
Oh.
is this black, inky void. Um, there is nothingness in any direction, and you still feel the sinking feeling in your gut. The pressure of the blood growing all around you as you are descending further. I
Okay.
need you to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Oh no, hepatitis.
Arg. 12.
12. You cough as your air is becoming limited. You feel the taste of metal hit your tongue, but you're able to close your mouth again and seal in what little air you have left. Is there anything else you would like to do? That sinking feeling has not slowed.
Hmm. And I uh reach like put my arm up and like see if I can like reach the top to see if like I'm actually sinking or if I'm like just
Are you going to try and swim up or just reaching
no,
up?
just like reach up to see if I
Okay.
breach the water or blood, whatever
Okay.
the fuck.
Um, you stick your hand up and try to feel to see if you find the surface. Um, from what you can tell, your hand does seem to be submerged.
Ooh, further than I thought.
You to roll another Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Bob was gonna go back to pick
23.
up. Ooh.
Am I
Maybe
dead?
not. I was gonna
Um,
say Bob was gonna come back to pick up Nova from daycare and she's dead. In like a pool of blood. And he's gonna be like, oh,
Have to soothe him. You know, favor. My baby.
you uh feel that burning in your lungs, but you are able to hold it for a bit longer. That's this lack of air is slowly getting to you.
Oh no.
What would you like to do?
Hmm. Hmm. Maybe I can breathe in this blood.
You know, honestly, given it's not not a realm of possibility given how weird Nova is. Maybe blood is just another oxygen carrier to her.
So you relax, you release the tension,
Yeah.
holding back the fluid around you. And as you inhale, you feel the blood rushing in you, filling you with warmth that your body has not felt in some time. It at first leads to a panic. Your eyes shoot open even wider than they were before. You see nothing but darkness around you, and as it slowly consumes you, you begin to cough and sputter. You are drowning.
Okay, cool. If I'm drowning, I'm going up.
You begin to panic and head for the surface. And go ahead and roll a Constitution save one more time.
Okay. 12.
You attempt to push and fight, but the blood is thick and you feel it weighing you down, and your consciousness slowly fades. You feel your eyes drift,
Oh,
and
I've
a
died.
moment later, you feel a red rush as your surroundings shift. You feel a sense of powerful presence near you. You are standing upright. You are seemingly able to make out the world around you a bit better. There is still this inky void, but around you, you can see the surface of liquid. You appear to be standing upon a pool of blood that is almost limitless in every direction. Eventually, it fades to the horizon. That warmth has not left you, but you can kind of see where the blood meets the horizon. It's almost like an eclipse in every direction, where this crimson floor meets space, stars, the void, everything. And there's just this line of light in every direction, like a dusk in everywhere you look. As you slowly turn around, taking it all in, a figure appears. It is almost the visage that was above the pool that you entered. It is a almost human shape, but with uh, wings wrapped around itself, almost like a cloak. There is a porcelain mask with golden veins. You see its head just ever so slightly tilt and peer towards you, craning, not too dissimilar from a bird in your direction. This figure is large, imposing. They do not stand level with you, but stand over you, 20, 30 feet tall.
Cool.
You hear a voice sort of
Hi.
echoing from every direction.
Yippee.
You are a curious case. What brings you here? To my domain?
Oh, uh, I guess I'm trying to figure out if I'm cursed or not, or like maybe try to get rid of the spooky voices in my head.
Hmm.
Do you seek therapy?
Yep, divine therapy.
You see the figure straighten up a little bit, their head kind of pulling back over their body more, straightening the sort of shocked, um, curious look. Hmm. I don't think all of you want to let go of those voices.
What? I'd rather not hear this creepy voice in my head, please.
Hmm. Well, you seem to fight to hang on. Some part of you is not here anymore, and yet the rest of you seems to want to stay. Child, why do you think your soul is shattered and sundered as such?
Don't know.
She probably dropped it.
All of this time and you know not? As this was not your doing, you are innocent in these unfortunate events. You are not beyond saving. You may one day return to the light if it is what you wish. But if darkness is what you are after, the transition beyond the twilight, part of you is also waiting there. Seems like the choice is up to you. I'm
Oh,
not sure whichever way you choose will be an easy path. This entity that owns your other half will not give it up willingly.
Entity? What entity?
Figure sort of grows in size, and you see um around you the eternal twilight sort of shifts, and you um witness um around you there is uh from the edges of the horizon, dark, twisted trees begin to appear. Stone that is almost warped and twisted to appear like foliage. Darkness and shadow overtakes. There are many creatures that dwell in shadow, but you seem to tread between shadow and light because someone put you there. However, it seems the threads of your fate have not been fully woven. Quite an interesting conundrum. You see, as this figure, from their almost completely cloaked and feathery visage, a hand appears. It is long and almost pointed, and it plucks at the air and pulls a golden thread forth. And it sort of strokes along it. You have much left to play in this war between light and dark. You've sort of thread the needle that is this boundary within yourself. You know who has your other half. You think about them every time your rest is disturbed. If you wish to return to the light, you will need to barter back what they stole. And if you wish to enter our domain in the dark, you need only ask. The choice is yours. The area around you has stopped shifting. It is a familiar place. It is a the shape of it seems familiar. It is a you are outside almost a forest cottage, but this version of it is a bit more twisted than you remember. It appears to be twisted and gnarled, as if the building itself has begun to corrupt and grow spines. It is partially in ruin, appearing to be a wooden structure that has collapsed from the center from burning. But the area around you is more twisted and dark, not too dissimilar from the forest that you have uh, spent time in earlier this day. It is it is a place from your childhood that you thought was wreathed in fire and flame that you would never return to. But it is, as you are starting to realize, not on this plane. You are looking at a glimpse from the Shadowfell, something that you spent some time researching not too long ago. You are looking at a dark mirror of your childhood home. Mm. As the figure in front of you steps back, they begin almost fading into the darkness, and the area around you begins to shift back to this pool of blood. The twisted, shadowy forest retreats, and twilight returns in all directions. Mm. You have been given a second chance. The choice is yours. And with that, you feel the floor of blood beneath you rise almost immediately. You feel solid beneath your feet, but you are drowning in blood. You feel your lungs full as you sort of flail around. You can feel a step beneath your feet. You take
Oh,
another and
let
another,
me
and you're
out.
sort of scrambling, trying to get out. And after 2 steps, your head bursts through the surface. You were in the room that you left a moment ago. You're coughing blood from your lungs. Mm.
Gross. Cool.
You slowly pull yourself out of the pool. Um, you are dripping from every strand of fabric and sanguine fluid. Um, what would you like to do?
Ugh. I want out.
Did you head for the door?
I call mom. I want to go home. Pick me up. Uh,
You probably don't want to call mum. You don't know who would answer that call. I mean,
oh, true. Oh no.
Yeah, it's either the person that left you there or it's the person that you don't want to see. So maybe call dad.
Um,
Papa, help!
you slowly make for the door and it opens before you get halfway across the room. The similar visage of the priest who left you standing there. I see your communion was accepted.
You have a
Hopefully your
washing machine?
questions were answered.
Washing machine.
Some extra clothes, baby.
As you're slowly as you're sort of pulling yourself up and dripping, um, they you see just they turn halfway away from you to your request, but then pause and wave a hand, and the blood slowly begins to sort of almost peel away from you, and it will pool on the floor beneath you, just kind of almost like it is being you're being passed through a like a sieve or something. Slowly, just you feel it kind of lifting away from your skin and from your garments, and it slowly
Bloodbender.
pools beneath you. Um,
Damn.
as it pulls beneath you, it slowly begins to return to the large basin behind you.
You. Cool.
And then the person who led you here begins heading down the stairs ahead of you.
Okay.
If you leave the room, the door will close behind you. And
Cool.
at the base of the stairs, um, you will see them waiting for you, about a door down.
Yep.
Your companion is in here.
Okay, I go.
Baba!
Yes.
Anything you would like to do while you're checking up on the porridge dad? Mhm.
Yeah, Papa P.
Yep, yep, yep.
Well, I
So
mean, I can
you
start by checking on
yeah.
him.
Yeah, so you, as you approach, you, find him in a prayer room, essentially. Uh, he is, apparently seems being watched over by a priest who is, um, going through a sort of what appears to be, religious meditation, but he is, just kneeling on the floor, uh, There's candles scattered throughout. It's otherwise quiet. Um, he doesn't immediately. He's facing away from you and doesn't immediately react to you. But as you approach, you see his eyes sort of like shoot open and back towards you. Oh, um, have you any news? I've been waiting um, for any sense of results.
Well, good morning to you too, Papa P. Well, I do believe that your little porridge is still undergoing the cleansing and all that noise. It sounds like it's going well though. So, but slow process though. I guess if you're tearing a curse out of somebody's soul, you want to do it carefully. You don't want to get you don't want to pull on the wrong string, so to speak. They fed you yet?
No, I haven't asked. I've just been trying to. Mm, I've been trying to wait patiently. Um, I was hoping to hear something by now, but um, I haven't been able to see my daughter yet.
It'll take a little bit of time now. I reckon that I'm gonna go head up to the market soon. I got some errands to run, but you should come along. We're getting some meat solids. Get that P for protein in you.
Um,
Gotta keep your strength for little porridge.
Perhaps you are right.
That's the spirit.
Well, suppose it won't do me much good just waiting here.
Probably fetch her a change of clothes as well while you're there. She might need that too.
All right. If that is the case, um, he sort of like glances back towards the priest, who at this point sort of they raise their head. Just give you both a subtle nod before closing their eyes and returning to whatever prayer they were at. Um,
They're actually sleeping.
um,
They don't have to pretend. It's fine.
perhaps. Um, but he sort of looks, he stands up, pulls himself up. He's a little shaky, but yeah. So uh, you're right. We'll stop by and get a change of clothes for Kara and um, maybe something nice for them. That will help. Um, I
But kind of looks
hope
like,
that this goes.
where's your other one? Oh yeah, she's still being taken care of by your neighbor. Probably checking it out too.
Yeah. So I'll make sure that it's not too much. And um, yes. All right. Um, following you then, I guess. Hmm.
I just gotta collect the Nova, see if she's doing okay. Probably just having a little chat with a priestess. I don't think anything interesting ever happens here.
As you turn back towards the door, you actually see the priestess. You haven't been here for long, but uh, she appears at the door, and uh, you hear her beckoning Nova that her companion is in this room.
Oh, well, that was awfully fast. You already cured her?
Um,
You guys are really good at
the
this.
priestess sort of looks towards you. It was not my choice to make.
Ah, the furry guy. I get it. He's a head honcho.
Uh, as you see sort of Nova approach, um, uh, we will be here, of course, if you need anything, and as soon as the state of the girl changes, you will be made aware. But I
Well,
have other business to attend to for the mistress, so if you will be so kind, I will show you out.
alrighty then.
Yippee.
But you okay, Nova? You look a bit funny, a little off kilter. presumably kind of like this
Uh,
semi-traumatized look on her face.
I'll
1,000-yard
be fine.
stare.
I'll be fine.
Her
Shut
eyes are
up.
like deceptively wide open, like just kind of a bit shaken. Mhm.
Huh. All right.
And just for your um clarity, um yeah, it's you parted way maybe 3 minutes ago. Um,
They do work fast in this place.
That was
It's like-
fast. Damn.
Choco goes into the
Going.
church. 3 minutes later, it comes out drenched in blood. Like,
Yeah.
oh! The fuck happened in there, bro?
It only
Yeah.
takes 3 minutes to drown.
Oh,
Oh,
Really does.
That's ominous. I hate that.
that's so scary. What the fuck?
Did you kill Choco and replace her? Like, what the fuck?
Nova just has brain damage now. That's what she saw.
Did you slip Nova a message saying you are now a changeling?
Oh
Shh, don't tell him.
no!
But with that, you are slowly escorted to the door. Um, and you see that there's still a few um, priests that are outside tending to the damage from the night before. Um, you will notice as you pass, I should say, before you finally leave, one of the rooms that you walk by does appear to have um, a couple um, members of the church here that are being tended to by their brethren. Um, it appears that their um, state here, at least on this side of the matron's worship, was put into question the night before, and their wounds are being treated. Mhm.
But we'll go and see if they need a hand. I'll kind of get his whole patching people up thing. I need to do it surprisingly often. You'll need a hand. He's just kind of like his head just kind of like snakes around the door, if you will.
Mhm. Um, the the matron that was sort of leading you out kind of pauses and turns and looks. Well, they seem stable for now, but if you wish to aid our wounded, it would be appreciated.
Well, all right. I figured one good turn deserves another. Ain't that right, Nova? He kind of like claps her on the shoulder.
Oh.
How many people are there that are kind of all jacked up?
There appears to be 3 priests in here that have sustained significant damage. There's a few there's signs of like a couple others that um most likely are have been pretty much fully recovered, and you see like signs of some of the uh not exactly beds, more stone tables made carved of obsidian that have seen use in the night, but there's 3 that remain that appear to be more problematic. um
Baba will.
uh
How badly do they
looking
look
over
injured?
them, yeah, looking over them, it's not too hard to tell they've clearly been treated to some extent. All of them are um all of them are stable, but they look like they've probably were nursed back from the brink, but at this point are resting. You could probably ease their pain if you would like, but you doesn't appear to you that any of them are in any mortal danger.
Well, Baba will give him each a cure wounds,
All right.
first level.
You see 2 of them sort of awaken to the warmth, and one of them even sits up and just Oh, appreciated. Oh, that was quite potent. Um, and another one just sort of blinks awake before returning to rest with a bit more ease to their um, uh, a bit more ease to their posture as they rest. And last one uh, that you go to heal was definitely the one of the more worse off. You can tell based on the state of their robes, that it looks like they got clawed quite heavily. Um, and as you heal it, some of the wounds which were already starting to like close over, sort of finish, and they mm, from their rest, they were uh, a bit, you could tell, a bit stressfully resting. Their expression relaxes greatly. Their fist sort of that was almost balled up across their chest in their sleep sort of detenses. And the sense that you, at the very least, helped them recover much quicker.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I
Um,
hope you all make a swift recovery. Give me a call if you need something a little bit stronger in it. I'll be in the area probably.
um, as you sort of approach uh, the door, and the matron leads you uh, out again. Just your aid is appreciated, healer.
Ain't no thing. Come on, gang. Who wants meat swords? Fella starts with meat
Uh,
sword, meat sword, meat sword.
and with that,
Uh,
you begin your chanting through the crowd. At this point, it is um, pretty much getting into midday, so the streets are bustling, and you're sure that by the time you get there, it will be fresh meat swords for the lunch rush. Um, all righty. Is there anything else you two are going to do aside from running some errands to the various places in the market and heading back to the Cobalt Salt?
No, Bubba just needs to pick up some pot and some sword and some meat.
All righty. Um, with that, uh, we will jump back to Marak and Shul. Um, you two were heading to the office of the High Curator, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All righty then. Um,
I'm here to watch
so
Shulan Questions daily like rom com like adventure. So
um,
will they? Want
so
me?
jumping from
Find out.
whatever the other ones were doing to your beautiful rom-com adventure, um, cue the intro music. So the two of you head up to the third floor of the library here. At this point, you're becoming familiar with the traipses. Um, uh, I know not of what you speak. Um, but there is as you approach the door, um you hear the voice from the inside beckon out. You may enter. Mm.
Hello, we've come on behest of the note.
Ah, yes, I see that you all are awake. What is the status of your oh, I see. um
Yeah, I just be like
Mhm.
point to my back.
Just be like, hey.
Oh, well, best not to leave him unwatched, I take it, so fair enough. All right. Then we have a little bit to discuss. But first off, we're going to need a full debriefing on what happened the evening before. So, while we do have questions for that individual of yours, we'll start with the two of you. I received a bit of an overview from you, sure. But is there anything that you feel is left out, or is there anything of particular note that you have noticed good Marak, that we should add to our report here?
We told him basically everything last time, right? Or was there like
Yeah, I
details
don't
that left?
think there's anything I need to.
Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
you went over most things. You
Yeah, we'll just do like
had
general rehashings, and I'll just like mention that like last night when I was like taking care of Zephyr, there seemed to be like something that happened, but maybe not in a negative way because like Zephyr seemed to rest better and stuff.
Put it this way, I'm not intentionally hiding anything.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, and we don't have to go over the whole story again. It's just a standard practice. So as you sort of go over that and you um when you get to the point of like him resting better and like how the night went, the two of them will just sort of look over each other. Um was that maybe Shul will, or sorry, question will sort of pipe in. Shul, would that have been around, let's say, 3 or so hours after we parted ways?
I look at my medieval watch. DM, would that be around 3 hours after we had departed? They had departed.
Knowing how your watches were set up for the evening, yeah, roughly.
Yeah, yeah, about why?
It's just you see the two of them kind of glance at each other. Uh, uh, we had noticed a similar disturbance. The high curator here had brought to my attention that during the initial um, uh, breakout, if you will, for lack of a better
Kerfuffle?
term, um,
Kerfuffle?
yes, that's one. There was um, a similar issue, but uh, traditionally speaking, um, our lighting is not disturbed by natural phenomena. Um,
So you're saying that
so
it could
that
have been whatever made Zephyr do the thing in the first place? Doing something again?
while we cannot confirm, it would see that there is strong correlation between him and whatever it was exactly that happened, and this sort of uh, flickering of light.
Hmm. Okay.
Um,
Well, nothing bad happened, so I guess it'll be okay for now.
all right. But we had spent the evening uh, doing a bit more digging into um, well, there had been some uh, problems floated around yesterday about other planar entities and forces that could cause problems like this. And based on some of your reports and what I witnessed in the forest, um, uh, it's still an ongoing search. We might need some collaboration from our contacts in Vasselheim, but for now, it is not looking good for your friend. Um, we
Like he's gonna
and
get
at this
arrested or like that he won't recover.
point, the High Curator is gonna take over and just he kind of raises a hand towards question. Well, it is not a matter of arresting him yet. His actions were fortunately handled by the Church of the Dusk Maven as well as our own forces. But if it had become a problem of the city, it is quite possible that he would be apprehended and out of our jurisdiction. But, however, that has not happened. Um, and this is an interesting case that is most likely going to threaten us or you in ways that negatively affect our pursuits. So, let us see if we can get to the bottom of this without having to involve the court systems just of yet. Um,
Yeah,
that
that'd be pretty
said,
cool. I
if
kind of don't want our friend to get thrown in jail. Like I get he's kind of a.
Again,
I mean, he's not like an upstanding. He's not like an upstanding
oh,
citizen, but he is like a cool citizen of my friend.
worry not. If his outburst on the last night were to be an outburst in a city center, he would not be thrown in jail. Most likely, he would be presented or by in front of Jamansa for judgment, and his fate would be far worse.
hey, do you remember that time he tried to run from a guard but couldn't climb a wall
Gulp,
in like the first city we were in?
gulp.
I was just remembering all the times that he's like nearly been arrested or arrested. But he was like, "Oh God, run!" and then just failed horribly at getting
Yep.
away.
Yep. Good times, good times. Um, but with that, he just no. If severe civilian casualties were on the table, it is most likely that jail would
How many
not
is
be on the
severe?
table.
I
Well,
jab Marok in the shoulder.
like, how many are we allowed before things get bad? Like,
Oh.
well, any intentional casualties would be considered bad, but at a certain point, it becomes a threat to the city and the hands of ord that you have been dealing with in the past that some of you got in trouble with, um, they are not the ones that are called to deal with it. If he does not
well,
come willingly,
who are you gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
um, the higher echelons of Jaman Saord's God do not ask questions. They take in threats in one way or another. They prefer to take them in willingly and present them before Jaman Saord or the councils for judgment, but I take it that your friend is unlikely to allow them such a courtesy, if that fit were to happen
Like,
again.
he runs even if he hasn't done something wrong. It's kind of a problem.
Ah!
Huh?
What was that?
That was me being a worried mother as you keep telling them bad stuff about our boy.
Well, it's true stuff, so maybe I'm not the one to blame.
Oh, but with that, they'll just
Touche.
regardless of the punishment for acts of unwanted violence in our relatively well kept city, there are other matters that we have been delving into. From your reports, as well as the events we've witnessed, we would believe that your friend has made dealings with um, some form of fiendish creature. Um, Question here reported that you encountered hags, um, and I wanted to ask you a little bit more about that because Question did not have first-hand experience with them as much. And
Ironically,
so
I think there is a part I might have not told you about that now that I think.
oh,
I don't
please.
know if my recollection serves me right because I just woke up. Shul has bedhead still. Um, but there may chance have been speakings with a woman who was like threads of stuff and things and fate and people existing far beyond what they're supposed to do or whatever. And now we have a needle. She gave us like a needle. I don't have it. Baba has it. And we're
Marak is listening to this for
supposed.
the first time.
Yeah, yeah. This is actually true.
Marak's like, the
And
fuck?
Mhm.
it was kind of like we needed to find out where Kara was, and so Baba and I may have agreed to do her a favor if we get to know where Kara was and if she was okay. Kind of like a genie's wish sort of thing. And so we found out where Kara was, and now we have this needle. And I don't remember who it is we're supposed to do what with the needle with, but I don't know if we can put that in the allotment of, well, maybe it's okay if we take care of that person because it sounds like they're not supposed to be around anyway, kind of thing. If that makes sense.
This
Um,
is out of character, but what exactly did you trade for? Because we kind of found Kara without any help. So
so out of character, Baba was like 3 questions about Kara to help find Kara. In exchange, we hitman someone that she wants dead.
I know, but like, you're like, where's Kara? They're like, but we were gonna find her either way because we were already there. Like
Yeah,
like
but like Baba's senses were like she is here in this hut, but she was not in that hut. And
To be fair,
so
yeah,
just above board, the questions weren't just about Kara. They
I
were
oh
know.
yeah, they were also about
questions.
Nova. One was about
Yeah.
Nova, one was about I think Zephyr, and then one was about Kara, I think.
um,
Understand? You just kind of
um,
agreed to stab somebody for like very little. That's what I'm saying.
Well, the kid is important.
I don't know. It's a kid.
Now I
Usually don't
wasn't
like
in charge of
those.
that. Listen, I wasn't in charge of that episode, okay? We made Baba the
anyhow,
writer of that episode.
returning to
Yeah, sorry for the
conversation.
side.
Oh, no, you're fine. But as you're sort of explaining this entities that you were dealing with, you see the two of them glancing, or not glancing, but kind of looking towards each other with concern. Um, sorry, Shul. Uh, just reiterating for clarity. Um, you're saying that this entity is separate from the one that we heard in the voice of in the forest?
Yeah. So there was that lady who kind of gave hints that she was hag, but she's not really in a hag situation, hags like to stay out in the middle of the woods, secluded, but she's like in the forest, like 2 blocks over, and she also seemed to, I knew the thing that she controlled was a night hag, right, that she sent away. That, like, I know that was a night hag, correct?
From your research, that does seem to be the
And it seemed like she was able to command a night hag, it seems, but was at odds with the hag that took Kara. You guys have a lot of hag adjacent things here. Do you know that? Did you know that?
as you're sort of going over this, they sort of just question kind of is searching for words, and the high curator steps
Questions
in.
about a faith, because I keep bringing up things that she doesn't know about.
High curator sort of steps in. They're the accounts that you give, and that of this first individual, which from your description would be correctly identified from our research as a night hag. Um, those accounts align with what we have discovered. However, this other entity that you said that you had struck this bargain with arises many concerns. Foremost, any bargain struck with powerful otherworldly creatures often has a price that you don't quite understand. But I trust that you all are aware of the nature of this bargain.
Yes,
That
I've heard of
said,
it.
that is concerning. That said, there is my concern, our concern here, is more that the creature you describe does not align with most of what most of what we have encountered. I'm fair, we have only spent a few hours, and there are more tomes and older sightings and scrollings that we can peer through, but very few entities tamper with fate in the way that you described. And the hags, well, perverse in many ways of what they desire, that is not one that I have personally come across. And no entity truly will command a hag. So it would be strange for one to have hold over another. Um, that said, it is not uncommon for hags to, in dire need or if their plans align, work together. Um, so while it would be unfortunate, it is not improbable that there might be a coven forming nearby. Um, that would be news. And so close to our city here is exceptionally bold. I suppose the only thing that I would like to clear up is just be aware in your travels going forward. Um, children's stories always describe hags living in huts in the woods, and while many do prefer secluded places, um, creatures of that nature will find a manner of lurking in any locale. That said, we will look into this, as one being this close to people is hitherto unheard of and strikes deep concern. There's clearly something working in the shadows here, and we are not up to speed on it, and that is dangerous given our purviews. The two of
Yep.
you are free to research on the 4th level.
What does
Try and
what,
find
what
out
does
what you
that
can
mean?
about that.
Wait, what does that mean? The 4th level?
You know how, like, when you read at, like, a 3rd grade level,
Uh-huh.
we just got better at
Oh.
reading. So
Oh my god, my dad said I'd never be able to do that. Whoa.
Take that, Dad.
Dang.
um,
Yeah, take that,
you
Dad.
see,
that's a very depressing statement for somebody to say.
Oh.
you see the high
He's got daddy
curator
issues.
hand.
I know, but damn, like,
Damn, indeed.
Damn.
this
You
is
see
makes
the
one
high
go like, "Oh,
curator.
honey."
um, the high curator hands a small key um, uh, over to question.
Oh,
Uh,
and you see, Shul's eyes get really big and sparkly for a second, and she sees the key get passed, and then goes to question, and she has like a really sad face.
Hmm.
You see him sort of pause as he hands it out, and question kind of isn't almost up for taking it at first. You see them kind of like hesitating. I don't know, and Curity sort of just pushes it onto her a little bit more. I trust that when you are done studying this matter, this will be returned to me. That said, he, as he gestures towards the unconscious Zephyr, is expected to be elsewhere. This is for the two of you. Sure. Question. And do not squander this.
I will do my best not to squander it more than we normally do.
So what kind of subjects are in grade 4 of the library? Like, what makes something a grade 4 book?
Good question.
We keep all forms of knowledge here. It is our purview. Maintaining it, sharing it. But some forms of knowledge are only ever used for things that cause great harm or evil. And while it is our job to oversee it, some things are best not left open to the public for its own safety.
Yeah. I get that.
Well, thank
So-
you for trusting us with it. We will do our best to find out what we can.
As Question sort of hesitantly takes it, he just says, kind of pauses, and you know what this means, Question. So, the two of you are being trusted, and
Question, what does it
I
mean?
look forward to your report in the near future. That said, we also had an arrangement for a meeting with the Allegiance of All Side representatives scheduled for this afternoon. The events of the last 24 hours were not taken into account during that time, but it could be some time before we're able to schedule that meeting again. So,
This is awkward. I'm kind of a new recruit with those guys. I haven't really spoken to them since.
Maybe it's a good time for you to
Yeah.
mingle, get your
Yeah.
feet wet.
Get my feet wet?
Yeah, that's
What's
a
this?
saying.
Is it?
Yeah, like
have you
when
never heard that?
Yeah.
when like
I've
you know
heard
how
like
Dip your toes in the water. Get your feet wet.
I've heard dip your toe, but I've never heard somebody say get your feet wet.
yeah,
Yeah, well,
get your little hairy piggies wet, bro.
Oh, okay.
You make it weirder if you want, but people say that.
Moisten those toes.
Oh, Lord.
Moisten thy toes. Oh, oh.
Ew,
And with
Poppy.
that, what the fuck?
Poppy sent me a
Oh.
picture of a gif of someone showering with socks on.
Oh God, that's disgusting.
I feel like if I send it to Ryan, I'm gonna get timed out again.
I was really upset that there was the minimum timeout is 60 seconds. Damn. But with that, the key is handed over towards Question, who kind of just like you can see that they're kind of almost in shock by this revelation.
Does Question have level 4 access? Do we have to,
Judging
like,
by
leave
their
Question
response, you don't
outside?
think that they've had this key before. But with that, they'll just so we do have a meeting scheduled for this afternoon. This is in regard to both your and our request for access to Kale Moro. While
might be a problem.
We
I
bound the
ass-
IP.
Well, I assume that everyone has a roaming IP because it's fucking Comcast. Oh, uh, yeah, we can look into it. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure that out. I can't do much about it right now. Is your
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
okay? Cool.
Yeah, I heard you robotning, and then I was like trying to talk. I'm assuming it didn't go through, and then OBS did its OBS thing, and I was like, our internet.
Okay. Well, maybe that narrowed it down to an internet problem then, which would be at least we know. But what the fuck was I saying? Oh,
High curator.
you,
Yeah,
Yeah,
the meeting
Calmoro.
and
yes.
Camara.
So you have you have a meeting to discuss passage into and information about Calmoro. And the High Curator just wanted to um essentially the TLDR was he wanted you to obviously everyone's looking into these issues with the entities that are surrounding your group, and research will be being take place, and you are free to whenever you have time. But also um, the forces, factions, and adversaries in Ank'Harel are not going to wait for us to resolve these other issues while powers are vying for control of Kael'Maro. So these threats still exist, and hopefully, after this meeting, you will have information on how to enter safely, and will be able to find out what it is we are still in the dark about down there.
Calmoro. So just above question. Calmoro is the place we were going to go to 10 years ago. Probably a week in game time, right? The underwater area.
Yeah, so like 2 days ago, you had um uh actually let me just because it has been so long in the out of the game
in the
time,
flesh
I will
space.
yeah, in the flesh space, because it has been like actually 6 fucking months. Um I will actually return to the information to that for you. But yes, this was about 2 days ago. After you had found out the information, um when the elephantoning happened, and you found this hideout that had been seemingly abandoned. You found some residue of some substance that was in there. Some of you didn't have a great reaction to it. You found a let me see. Blah, 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 blah.
It was a note, and they were
You
like
found a
maybe
letter.
aboleth.
Yeah, yes, you found the letter, which I believe is had posted, but if you guys need that information again, I will read it out. Yeah, it's posted in the references under the picture of the elephant. Um, uh, so that is the note that you found. Um, you um turned over a good amount of the information. Some of it is being further researched, such as the elephant parts and elephant. You had one elephant that had essentially turned to dust, and one that was mostly whole, and in a small form. And so those were handed over alongside the note, and the note made it clear that um, there is a push from the consortium of Vermilion Dream to secure more of this resource and this place, that the Cobalt Soul here is kind of being kept in the dark about. And uh Jamil, the High Curator here, um let you know that he has some contacts in the Allegiance of Allsight who could probably arrange safe passage for you into the drowned city. And that was a few days ago. It appears that the meeting has been established, and um, is hoping that through this meeting, you all will be able to learn a bit more about what is going on in that region below the city. Is that any other questions regarding to what happened 6 months ago, 2 days ago? Uh,
No.
Makes sense to me.
okay, cool. Um, but yeah, it seems the Allegiance of Allsight has some more knowledge on this, so that is happening later on this day. Um, but with that, he will just say, also, while you are researching these hag-like entities and anything else that you find is directly related to or appropriate for your current lines of query, I might suggest putting demonic possession on that research tab as well. Um, it does not seem too far off from your reports. Um, hags have not been known to use magic quite as this to my knowledge, but maybe you'll find out else. You'll find that information to be false. Whatever it is, start with a wide search net. I'm sure you know the rest of the drill.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good, Capitan. We will not donk this up.
And as you all are sort of being ushered out, he'll just you see him questions kind of the last one, and he just says, "Remember the policies, question. I expect that they will be enforced." Mhm. And she just sort of gives a bit of a nod, almost a bow, and heads out of the room, closing the door behind you all. Um, all right then. Do you have anything you need to do, Shul, or are you free at the moment?
Hey, look, Rock. Are we doing anything, dude?
No, not really. Not that I'm aware of.
All right, cool. No. Why? What's up?
Um, he'll just sort of look towards between the two of you. Apologies, Marak, but this is just for the two of us. Um, if you don't mind. Mm.
I walk out of walk out of the room backwards, like shooting finger guns. I'm like
Um,
winking at them, like I got you, don't worry, I'll be in the room.
Damn.
That sounds worse. Don't say that. Sounds like you're gonna do a cucking situation. I'll be in the
Wait,
room.
is it?
Oh.
No, it's just the one place we have that we can meet up. I don't.
I'll be in the closet, just gonna go get my Superman outfit real quick.
I'll get the chair ready.
Oh.
God damn it. So as you moonwalk down the stairs, question just sort of looks towards you. Do you understand what just happened?
No.
All right. Glad we're on the
I
same
give
page.
her a big tusky smile. No.
All right. Um, uh, as it were, um, this way, please. And sort of directly on the opposite side of the um, hall on the landing here on the third floor, marking Jamil's office here. There's a set of doors directly opposite, and she takes the key over and opens the doors. And ahead of you is a spiral staircase that just like a narrow, almost like metal spiral staircase that heads upwards. If you will close the door behind you, please, and um, we'll go up. And she slowly starts ascending the stairs.
Yeah, I'll follow and close the door. And are you excited? I'm excited. I love books. My dad never said I could read. But then I learned how to read. But I'm excited. Are you excited? Seems like you've never
Um,
been
I,
here before,
I,
so.
I I've been here once, a few hours ago. Um,
Oh.
it was the first time that the High Curator had sort of escorted me through this. But this is my first time not with him, sort of leading me. Just so that you are aware, this area is restricted for outsiders for the general safety of the world, as there are tomes in here in which the knowledge is dangerous. If you or anyone is to remove one from the premises, um, that would be extremely unwise. Um, Information in here is um, dealt with very carefully, as there are instances where people have tried to break in and steal the information or the artifacts that lay within, and when it has gone poorly for us, people have suffered. So do not remove anything from the premise, and uh, any information that you um, sort of take in written form will just need to um, be checked by myself, or otherwise it's would be unwise to break these rules. Um, there
No
are
problem,
um,
Capitan. When I was back home,
dangerous
my dad
things.
didn't let me read books, so I had to hide books all the time. So my lips are sealed, lock and key. Here,
She's
I'll
like,
even.
I'm steal these books. I'm great at hiding books, bro. I'm so good at hiding them.
Oh, that's
Like,
not what that's not what I meant. But I'll be like, don't worry, under lock and key, and I'll like do the motion to like lock my lips, and I give her the fake key.
She sort of just to be clear, because I'm a bit lost. Uh, you understand that um, stealing things from this area could put your life at risk.
I'm really glad that no one's
I
telling Mark any of this information.
Yes, I didn't mean it in a way that I was gonna steal stuff. I meant it in a way of like, I'll keep my mouth shut.
Oh, okay, yes, good. Sorry, just um,
Nope,
I've
no, you're doing your job. Nope, I get it. You're good.
right. Um, with that, um, through some, and so at this point you're sort of on the upper floor here. You're looking down, and the tower of the library is below you. Um, but you kind of realize from up here that you haven't noticed this floor as clearly. Like it seems to kind of go up for quite some distance from the bottom, but you're starting to get the sense that um, you can't necessarily make out these shelves from below. Um,
Oh shit, it's
but that said,
like a big library that descends down,
yeah,
I'm
there's a
assuming.
there. So the library is a tower, um,
Mm.
and so uh, from below, it does seem to go up for quite some distance, and there's rows and rows of shelves. But what you're seeing up here uh, is a little bit more lock and key than how it appears from below. You're getting the sense that there might be some illusionary work going on here. Because while a lot of the tomes on the floor below are kept um, in like chained or gated shelves. And the ones and a lot of the shelves in the high curator's office as well are uh, private collections, if you will. Um, they Some of the shelves on this level are more heavily vaulted. Um, and question will just say, um, so generally speaking, do not touch any of the artifacts on the shelves in here. Um, most of them are not safe. And as you sort of are walking past, there's a few alcoves that have artifacts behind glass. Few of them look a bit grotesque. One of them, as you pass by, appears to be like an urn that's shattered and has like gold scrawling all over it. You'd
Mhm.
recognize some of the symbology as not being too different from uh, some symbols that you've seen scattered across the ruins beneath Bazozan. Um, and uh, a lot of the tomes in here, the ones that you can see, the spines are written in languages that are foreign to you. Um, as you kind of get further, you see kind of going around the circle, there's a few shelves that um, the where the books would be, many of them up here are kept under like lock and chain, but some of them almost have like a full iron sort of covering that is obfuscating whatever is on the other side, with multiple keyholes. um Eventually, you'll sort of wrap about halfway around this circular floor, and question will say, "All right, so I believe that this section should contain information regarding deals and pacts made with creatures that could be native to the lower planes. So I think this might be a good place to start on research. Um, I was going to continue looking into what I left off last, which was demonic possessions. Would you be interested in looking into hags first, or would you like the other way around? Mm.
Yeah, I'll do hags. I already got
All
a head
right.
start on
Um,
hags because I read about them earlier, so I think that, might as
that
well
is what
start
I
from
was
some
thinking.
point than no point. Mm-mm.
All right. I would recommend, and she kind of moves like one further shelf down. I might recommend starting here. Let me know if you're having any issues with the translations. And she pulls out a scroll and hands it to you. And this would be of assistance if you are also struggling.
Thank you. I will nestle myself in a nook. Read.
All right. There are a few kind of alcoves. There doesn't seem to be like on this floor, the same kind of like uh, closed off chambers, but there are some alcoves with tables for setting books and places for research and carts for moving books around. Um, they're uh, just so you're aware, she handed you a scroll of comprehend languages. Um,
Oh,
and as she sort of hands it to you and begins sort of peering over, oh, um, also, I forget if I asked. Uh, do not tamper with any of the shelves that are completely locked off. And she sort of points to one of the ones with the three keyholes and the metal door. Those are best for your health not to tamper with those. Mhm.
no problem. I got my hands tied
Um,
with this book.
right. Um, Let me know if you need any aid or if some of the volumes are locked in a way which it does not allow you to pass. Um,
Mm.
uh, she sort of looks over. I might start with that one, and she points to like a shelf that's like 15 feet up. Uh, from what I can gather, it looks like probably hags, but more first-hand experience volumes.
Okay.
And she sort of goes back. I'll just be over here. There are ladders that's, the rolling ladders that kind of cycle around. They pretty
Mhm.
much loop
Mhm.
around the whole circle here. They are only interrupted by a few of the alcoves that are kind of broken into thirds, but you can pretty much get to almost any shelf up here. And the shelves go about 20, 25 feet up in some places. Um, The shelves on the lower half don't appear to be nearly as secure, but as you go further up, the security gets a little bit tighter.
Mm-mm. I'll do my research as I've been doing
All right.
and read.
Go ahead and roll an investigation check with advantage.
Okie dokie. Investigation. Advantage roll. I got a 20. Dirty 20, but still a 20.
Nice.
20 to 20, baby.
You will spend the next few hours up here. You are going to encounter almost immediately um that not all of these tomes, but almost all of them are written in dialects that you do not quite understand. Some of them you recognize from places you have been. Uh, some of them you will speak. Let me actually. I need to double check this language really quick because you actually have a couple that I didn't realize you have, but I don't think any of them are going to overlap with the tomes you're reading. Um, okay, yeah. So you are not going to encounter a lot that are in some of the dialects that you're speaking here. However, with the aid of the scroll that was handed to you, as well as through some of these have translations that have been you can tell that some of these tomes have been transferred from whatever their original manuscript was, and so one page has the original writing, and one page, the page opposite of it, has a translation to mostly common. Occasionally, the translations are also in a language that you don't speak, but normally those you recognize as sometimes some form of like Gnomish or Dwarvish or Elvish. But even if you don't speak them, they're a little bit faster to translate. Uh, but with the help of the scroll that was given to you, you'll sort of slowly start picking through information, starting with the easier and then getting into the harder. You will notice that for some of these tomes that have not been translated, they are of very interesting make. You are Most of the pages of these tomes are scattered. The translated ones are a bit more uniform, but the non-translated ones that you're getting the sense are first editions, if you will, most likely only editions. And uh, quite a few of them are a little bit more esoteric in nature. One of them you are quite certain, while many of the pages of these are made of vellum, it seems the cover of some of these are made of materials less savory. The ink in some of them, many of them, runs black, and some of them run red. Um,
That
so
is
it
quite a
is
lot of blood in today's session, eh?
Mhm. Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a
But
infinitely deep pool of it.
this is what happens when you go to Dusk Maven temples asking for questions that cannot be answered by the staff. We have to go to upper management.
Do the books smell good? Do I like the book smell? Smell nice?
Feels savory.
um, roll a perception check for me.
What?
Just I'm curious what you pick up on.
Roll to see if you can smell the books.
My nose is clogged. Oh, my nose is clogged!
Aw.
I mean, a good. They are very much like this is like the dusty library smell. Like this section is not as well maintained, or not. I won't say well maintained, but not as well used.
Doesn't get as much
as
as
the rest.
attention, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like there will be like bits of dust coming from here and there. Some of these tomes that you are opening you do not know if they have been opened since you were put on this shelf. And so it's like, while the outsides are like, often it appears like the amount of dust on them doesn't necessarily equate with probably how long they've been here. Once you open them, it's like they creak and crack, and the bindings are not very malleable. Um, and so it's like, yeah, I mean, like, overall, it's a pretty cool experience. Some of the smell puts you off a little bit. Um, it's with those more interestingly bound books. They Something about the smell just doesn't quite sit right with your stomach. But with that, um, you will slowly begin gathering information, and there is all manner of accounts. This Many of these appear to be um, people who have, in some of the first ones that you're going through, especially the more well translated ones. Um, these are accounts of individuals who, over the millennia, have, through first party or second party documentation, uh, have uh, come to document their encounters with otherworldly beings, and the manners of which they have been extorted, uh, cursed, damned. Some of them have had profitable dealings, some of which are repenting, or regretting what they have given, and what it was not worth what they wanted. Others are more outsider accounts of individuals who have come to great success, but have later, through their bloodline, found out that that success that they um, had a cost later down the line. Um, and it's a lot
Tieflings.
of where you're starting.
Like
What
tieflings
was
are
that?
born. Like how tieflings are born?
Um, some of this has a little bit of overlap with that. Um, you seem that, at least where you were started on this information, um, you seeing a little bit of overlap with that, but it's not, these specific, um, tomes don't deal with that as heavily, but you are seeing how some of these stories are, um, uh, kind of descending into that. It's not as common as you would think,
Mm.
but you're getting a sense that that is mostly just because of the focus of these tomes. Like, it's one of those things. By coming into this section of the library, the information you're getting is a lot more focused than what you're getting on the first floors.
Mm.
But if you were looking up information about this on the lower floors, then yeah, you would probably find a lot of tieflings. Um,
Okay.
but here the information is a bit more specific to the hags that you are researching. Um,
Mm.
and with that, um, with a 20 on your research, you will, in some of the more esoteric readings that you have to use your comprehend language scroll for, um, you do start seeing that there are creatures that um, resemble hags in many ways, but are different from the more standard reasonings. And you'll slowly kind of get deeper and deeper into this recess of research, and kind of slowly putting together the pieces. And so, the first thing is, you do reaffirm this belief that the second entity, the one that you saw toying with Kara, you're almost certain this was a night hag of some form, most likely an old, powerful one, though. They Whatever is happening here, uh, creatures like that don't do these things without reason. And the more and more you're reading into this, seeing one in the middle of a city like this just seems wrong. Um, and a creature that these tomes, you're starting to understand, is like, they can topple kingdoms with their scheming. Um, Creature like this wouldn't just be frolicking around picking up girls at random. That's what bards are for. Um,
Hmm.
but with that, uh, you slowly start shifting over, like looking for information on this other entity, and that is where you're coming up short. Um, until near the end of your research, you stumble upon writings in, you believe, some form of uh almost draconic, that you are translating it from, uh and they appear to be the writings of a planeswalker, or someone traveling through planes and documenting their research, some powerful archmage. And this is not one of the more questionably tomed books. This one seems to be well preserved, just written in a language you don't understand. It is a a rather nondescript looking tome from the outside, but it is locked, and uh, fortunately, the uh, locks seem to open as you uh, go to read them. You're
Try to
kind of
pry it
getting
open.
the sense.
Try to pry it open at first.
Yeah, you go to pry it open, and then it kind of just, as you set it down, it opens. You're getting the sense here that um, you are the the library seems to know that you are allowed to read these. Um, but because a lot of these things are locked, a lot of the chains and locks on the various shelves are unlocking as you kind of get through it. But this tome itself has locks on it, and it unclasps when you sort of set it down gently and go to open it. Um, and with that, um, you get in, and these journeys go through many of the planes, both upper and lower. Um, and it is finally when you get towards sort of the middle of this tome where you start seeing um, these dealings with the Feywild and the Shadowfell. This uh, whoever this was that was traversing the plains back and forth, so seemed to spend a good deal of time on the veil between these places. Um, and they have laid accounts of a creature they encountered um, when traversing from the material plane on Exandria into the Feywild. And it is a creature who, at first, the description bears no meaning to you. It is almost like a fairy-like creature. Does not hold a lot of weight. It doesn't really add up to like the hags you're researching. But as you're skimming through it, one note catches your attention. The author in takes a moment to slip out of the draconic that much of this tome is written in, and transitions to another language, which you know is some form of dwarvish writing. At least the script is, but the language is a lot more precise. And they seem to have done this to describe the eyes of the creature. They go into quite a bit of detail about the seemingly endless void, like staring into the stars, but never ending. And this creature offered them pact and information, of which they turned down, and no harm came to them, but they found the deal to be quite an interesting one. A seemingly no strings attached or threads attached, it is written, um, answering of any question the multiverse would have to offer. But he did not want to find out what the price was.
What a vanilla
Journey-
guy.
Pussy.
You begin reading a little further because this strikes a bit of a impression on you. But no further connection is made in the um, in this section of the book. However, in the next section, this individual encountered a similar creature, except this time, and they preface it in a similar way. It happened when traversing between another veil, but between the Shadowfell and the material plane. And while traversing, they encountered a creature. And again, in the same way, almost repeated, is this description of the eyes of the creature, except this one, the physical description matches what you saw. This maybe slightly larger than average humanoid creature, these eyes that are much larger than normal, this limitless void behind them, and these long tendrils of arms that seem to bend and extend longer than any humans would. Um, this time, the individual in their notes says that they had questions they wanted answered. You get the sense that this travel for them took place much later in life. And so they document that they did, in fact, this time take the entity up on their barter. And they received a job for them, a needle that needed to find its thread and to be woven into the tapestry. They do not document what their questions were. They say that those are for only those who need to know's eyes. But
I need to know.
the mission that they were sent on, they said they're not sure if they will be able to finish in their mortal life, but their quarry will be quite difficult to catch. At the end of this, there is a post note written by the author, and it appears to be taking place even later. It's a page that's been inserted at a different time, and it just says that they were never able to finish that mission, and as such, as per the agreement, the needle was passed to their um, closest companion in the hopes that it does not trouble them. But they will also say, in all their travels, these are the only two encounters they ever had with a creature such as this. And the term that he has penned for them is um, a weaver of the fates. But uh, translating it, it's comes across more to you as um, a a hag of fate.
Wow, my journal entries are gonna be like, or my bestiary is gonna be like, hag knight, hag mother of, hag of fates. Like multiple hag entries.
Hag maxing.
Hag maxing.
um, and the only other note is that um, it seems to be these creatures dwell in the space between the Fey and the Shadowfell, where it borders the prime material plane.
Okay.
The only other note is that the disposition of the two of them appeared different. They were not the same entity, but appeared to operate in the same sort of space.
So are they saying that they're like two different entities?
Yes. Or at least two different dispositions, much in the way that the prime material plane has a Shadowfell and a Feywild that sort of overlap with it. The Each of those respective veils between each respective plane seem to have entities, or at least one. He has not encountered more than one of each, but the one in the Fey appeared more mischievous, good-natured, but threatening as any fairy is to those who know, whereas the one in the Shadowfell appeared a bit more dark and sinister.
Okay.
Throughout your research, you kind of look up, glance around, just taking in this library around you. Almost every time you do, you notice questions gaze upon you, and they quickly return to what they were doing.
If I catch her eye, I'll wink at her.
They return even more quickly. Kind of that like, oh, nope, they didn't see me looking. And they will
I will
after
eventually, if she does that for a while, I'll eventually just like quietly go over there and just breathe next to her.
um you notice that as you kind of go over and sit in the alcove, they don't protest or anything. There's just enough room for the both of you. But you sort of looking over their notes that they have, and the sort of the two piles of books, the ones that they've gone through and the ones that they haven't, they're still on the first book, and their notes are next to empty.
Ooh. I mean, she slept dead.
But
Typical
as you
tiefling.
sort of as you sort of sit there across from them, you'll see they'll slowly start making some progress. Um, but they appear to have not been fully focused, maybe. But
I will just
with
read
that,
and smile at her every now and again.
fair enough, they will return the favor, much mirroring your
We're studying.
kind
Well,
nature.
it's not that kind of studying.
um it is around this time that Baba and Nova, you will return. You have conquered meat swords. You have received your pottery. Um, you have checked in on the siblings of the girl who it seems that the kind old lady who's looking after them is more than happy to have helpers, and they are playing with some carved wooden toys.
Child labor
But
right off the bat. Wow, it did not take long.
yep.
I love how our
But
hands can fit into machines.
fortunately for them, not a lot of machines in her home. Um, but uh, but with that, you all will return. You will find Marak is watching over Zephyr where you left them, but Shul is missing. Um, uh, and with that, if there's anything that the rest of you would like to do as we wrap up, otherwise we will close this chapter for this evening.
While they were reading books like nerds, I want to practice juggling in the bedroom.
Hell yes,
Go for
dude.
it.
Yeah.
At least 2 balls.
Yeah. So what are you juggling? What are you juggling, and how
Juggling.
many? Juggling.
Tumbling.
Let me look at my inventory to see what I've
Juggling.
got. Bottles of alchemist fire. No.
Whoa.
Jesus Christ! In the library.
I mean, I'm not in the library. I went back to my
Jellyfish
room.
insects.
Okay. So are you in the Zephyr safe room, or are you in your room?
In my
Like
room.
your dorm?
With Zephyr.
Okay.
Zephyr's like in a pile in the corner, like he's still wrapped up in the bag.
You know, like when you like toss your laundry off on the chair,
Yeah,
like it's like one of those.
Aw.
Jesus.
I'm going to be trying to juggle unlit torches.
Okay. 3?
Yeah, specifying
Okay.
unlit.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Go
I hope they're
ahead
not like matches I'm gonna throw up.
and
It's gonna hit the ceiling and strike.
go ahead and roll a dexterity check.
Okay.
Rolling that one, you kind of juggle it. It goes over a candle, gets lit up.
I mean, there was a
All
1
right.
in it.
How long are you spending juggling? Like the whole time they're gone?
Well, I don't know how long they were on. They just told me that they'd be gone. That I wasn't invited to their secret like sex club that they're holding. So,
Oh boy.
It's gonna be at least 2 hours before Baba gets back from his full journey. It's probably like an hour and a half before anyone's gonna show up. Mhm.
I'd probably do it for a decent amount of time, depending on how good I. If I'm doing well, I'd probably do it for longer. But if I'm like doing horribly, I'd probably just be like, "Fuck this."
Yeah, fair
So-
enough. So
Does it
starting
rearrange
out,
the
it's
library?
oh, performance tomes. Um I mean, starting out you're not doing bad. Like it's one of those, like, these are a bit oddly shaped compared to some of the stuff you tried to juggle before, and given the limited space of the room, like you're having a little trouble, but like you're getting it, you're slowly getting the hand of it. You get the feeling that, like, yeah, like you might actually learn how to juggle. Um
yeah.
but, so it's like, yeah, you're getting on the cusp of it, but given the situation, it's like you at one point, you kinda, like, sit down, on the bed to give you more headroom above you for tossing, but, yeah, no, you're making headway,
You got to sit on the
you're
bed
like
so you got some room for tossing. You know.
And turning.
yep, um, but, with that, you, will, finish your, um Uh, you will finish um, your juggling practice will be finished, and you feel accomplished. You feel that,
I'm gonna be completely
probably
honest.
wouldn't want to do it on a stage. You probably
It's
wouldn't want to
been
do it at a
so
stage at this
long.
point.
It's been so long since I started this. I forget why I started it. I'm just doing it now because it's what I've been doing. It's
Fair.
I forget what my
It's sim-
juggling dreams were.
We're
Language is
gonna
we're being
have to have a
honest.
moment where you juggle in front of a kid, and then they think that's the coolest shit, and then it'll reignite your juggling dreams.
Maybe it was so you could juggle health
Um,
potions during combat.
I might start a club for juggling. Call us the
Hell
Juggalos.
yeah. Oh
Gotta
no!
need the juggalos.
Fucking
Oh
Baba sleeping
no!
as just fully inside his shell fucks me up every time.
This was Varrock not ever fucking blinking or
yeah,
closing
I was
his
gonna
eyes.
say the same. You could say the same thing about your eyes being open when you sleep. It's like, how did this start? I don't know.
And the second page is wild.
So much
It's just
blood.
like, oh, look, okay, yeah, some doors, oh, what the fuck?
I love the little like dredge choke like Nova at the end. Like, brr.
He's like, what?
Yep, yep.
I like the oh
Trauma.
man on the first episode, the oh man, and the vial pick you up later.
I feel like this is a perfect emote.
I don't disagree. I love that. I love that image. It's like the
Jumping from
only
his
one
kid
that
in
has any
kindergarten.
shading to amplify the trauma.
I love the fucking Zephyr in the backpack sleeping.
It's like dropping off your kid at kindergarten for a first time ever.
What did you do at kindergarten? I drowned in a pool of blood. That's great, sweetie. Let's go get some lunch.
Want some ice cream?
Oh.
You want some meat sword?
See.
At this
Well,
point, we should just have Meat Sword Man on retainer. I think.
Yeah, we
It
just,
basically is.
Basically.
Ryan, are you familiar with the hireling rules?
He just follows us around and beats swords.
God damn it! I haven't opened that page in a while.
Yeah, every time someone mentions that, it's like, oh,
Maybe meat
Oh.
swordsman could be like a fighter subclass or something. I guess probably closer to cleric. Like
he
someone half
turns out this whole time he was a meat swordsman, not just.
a master meat swordsman. Master crafts
Oh.
meat swords +2.
He's a battle master fighter with a cook background.
I want to see him use a meat greatsword, which is just whole pig on a stick.
So he's like, what that's a shawarma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like a roast pig, but you just take the whole stick and swing it.
So bonus action, you can launch the apple out of a mouth.
You look punch the stomach and the apple goes flying.
20 feet,
That's
28
crazy.
bludgeoning damage.
Shrapnel out to 5 feet.
That's when he gets stuck in the other person's mouth and they can't cast spells or anything. It has,
Fucking silence. Just
Yeah.
run up to someone, just shove an apple in their mouth. I cast silence.
God damn it!
Basically, smushes the pig's mouth into your mouth and it transfers the apple.
just thought like monks could like walk up to someone and just cast silence, just punch someone in the throat.
The question is, if you're being attacked with like a roast pig, is that bludgeoning or psychic damage?
You know,
All of the above.
Like, but it probably depends on your religion.
Religion.
oh, that depends which religion though.
Exactly.
Is it super effective against?
What the fuck?
That's
What?
my brain just
I'm
went.
just I'm just trying to quantify the shit that I'm hearing.
All I'm saying is, do you think certain religions have vulnerability to pork damage?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd argue yes.
in our
Probably
world,
like a
yes.
vegan people.
It's
It's
kinda
like
like-
vegan people, and then.
It's kind of like how demons are vulnerable to radiant damage.
Yeah, vulnerable to pork. I mean, now pork damage has to be a new kind of.
I think like druids, right? The druids that like
Did you
don't
know that
eat
there are-
animals. I
did you know
think
there
would
are
be susceptible
two-
to it.
There are 2 official damage types. One is custard damage, that is an official D&D damage type.
Ooh.
Because there is a book, there is a module they released where there is an eating contest. And the eating contest, if you do it and you mess up your roll, it does custard damage, which is an official damage type. And there's another damage type
Fucking
called
wild.
blueberry damage,
Oh.
which is from a module that involves like imaginary things.
Of course.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, I mean, kind of. That's well, when you put it like that.
Yes, a module that involves imaginary things is all of them, but that's
Fair.
Guys,
Oh,
I don't know how to tell you this,
Session today.
but this is all imaginary.
gasp. You tell that to Shul and Question as they finish their study session next time.
Yeah,
I
they
like-
finished.
Nah.
I like the last panel
Damn.
where Shul looks so deeply uncomfortable. Sorry, Chris looks so deeply uncomfortable what's happening here. It's like, oh shit, I forgot I'm locking with my stalker.
Smile.
Shula's winning question. I got my Stockholm syndrome.
Oh no!
Damn. Oh.
You know, when I invited
That's
you to come
fucked
over to
up.
study, I thought we'd actually study.
When you
Like,
said
not only
Smash,
said
I thought we
pen.
were playing Smash Bros, man.
She did not own a Nintendo system.
Gasp.
Wait, the meat sword equals +1 magical damage sword once per day. When it hits an opponent, it can deal bonus damage equal to the heat metal spell. This ability resets at dinner time.
I love resets at dinner time. That's so good.
And then Devouring also said Shul finds a book that is actually the current campaign book and has an existential crisis. I'm down for this.
You might
I
need
want
a
to
few
come.
more keys to find
I want to
that one.
load a meat sword up with good berries, and then you have a bonus action to eat a good berry.
Damn.
If you stab somebody with good berries, does it heal?
Depends who made the good berry.
Oh.
Well, this would be a great berry, so
Yeah.
because it would be Baba's.
Excellent berry.
Baba's the only source of good berries I have access to.
I just think you should do, like, you just juice the berries and you put it into like a hypodermic.
I feel like
spray.
if anybody ever offers us a good berry, we're gonna be like, "What the fuck is this weak shit?" Because we're not aware that Baba is like just super good at his job. Like we think this is just like this is just the only healer I've known. So like somebody else heals me, I'll be like, "Is that it, bitch?" Like,
Is that the best you can do?
put some elbow
Fucking
grease into
weak
it.
shit.
Dang, you saving those spell slots? Like,
Baba's words of encouragement always have such a higher pep in their step. You know?
Yeah, it's because they're both a carrot and the stick. Come, buddy, you gotta pull through. Because if you die, I'll fucking kill you.
It's like I don't got time for that dying shit. Get your ass up.
So Sergeant, like, yeah, I didn't give permission. You don't die without my permission, kind of situation.
Yes, sir. All righty. Well, thank you everyone for coming. I hope you had a good time in our
Thank
trauma/study session.
Yay.
yeah.
Well,
Maybe next week we'll fight something.
Is,
eh,
is everybody okay
Me
for
neither.
next week?
I am okay for next
Yeah.
week, yes.
I think
Fight
so.
some
Good.
We just fight some librarians.
Definitely.
Yeah,
go
next
get-
time maybe you'll fight something other than your inner demons.
I mean, those are kind of fun to fight.
Yeah.
I think if if like Nova has to fight her inner demons, that shit's gonna be like way stronger than Choco. Like Choco's like that's gonna be like twice the level of Choco at that point. Like there's some
Choco's
stuff in
gonna
there.
become
Like this,
that groundhog that like is running and running and then stops and then screams.
that's some advanced
Yep.
trauma. That's like,
We should get a stat sheet for a Nova's trauma.
Nova couldn't beat her
Uh,
drummer in an arm wrestle. That's all I'm saying.
Mhm.
you are probably not wrong.
I got that high protein trauma.
Fucking hell. Hag maxing, trauma maxing. Gosh, when are you guys
Woo!
gonna stop?
Thank you,
Gee.
DM, for this session. I guess I'll see you guys next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
See you guys next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Alright, I'm gonna take a quick break to stretch my legs and I'll be right back. I'm probably gonna hang out with Boofers, the Boofanator, but we will see. I will be right back. I gotta go bathroom.